I found something in Kate Egan's ring camera footage. Check your messages.
Hey, what the f***? You send this to Monet already?
Diana, what the f did you do?
Now, I think when it comes to harder dinner scenes, always expect fireworks. There has been one occasion where it was all smiles and laughter. That was after Lorenzo came home. He brought the family together where there was unity for a short period of time. He was putting everybody in different positions to what Monet had, but again, it was always going to be short-lived because we all know the Tejadas, the smiles, jokes, and laughter. It was all masked by a lot of betrayal from Drew, Monet, Kane, and Diana. And then we all saw what happened 2 episodes later with the Zeke bombshell. Now in episode 403, we were given yet another classic Tejada dinner scene. Just when Monet thought she was making an amends with her kids, especially Diana, she received the ring doorbell footage from Pinky. And that's completely flipped the chessboard upside down. So, in this breakdown, we're going to be running through the aftermath as Drew and Diana find themselves on the run. We're going to run through a few exclusive teasers that were released before season 4. I'm also going to run through how I feel like even though Diana will save herself by saying she's pregnant, why I feel it will be short-lived for her in Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4. Now, I think we all knew it was only a matter of time before Monet uncovered the truth. I don't think Tariq meant to drop Kate Egan's name when he had this conversation with Monet at the end of 402, because that actually puts her one step closer in terms of uncovering another secret. Tasha was behind the gun. Regardless of whether only Tasha and Tariq know the actual truth, if Monet has a conversation with Diana, which I'm sure she will, she'll want to know who pulled the trigger, and if she says it was supposed to be Tariq, she's going to connect the dots. But in terms of this conversation, I'm also sure Tariq didn't want to kind of get Kate into any bother. But Pinky said her house was empty, and that's because she's packing up so she could go to Tommy, JP, and D-Mac over in Chicago. However, Pinky did manage to get the ring doorbell footage which exposed Diana. Now there are a couple of perspectives we do have to consider when it comes to Diana being exposed, because there are a lot of moving chess pieces, and they are still going to continue to move. For Tariq, he wants to reach the top of the pyramid. He wants to take over the street and drug game, and at the same time bring down Nomar and the Tejadas. Like he said to Davis, they all have to get it. However, at the same time, he also needs to make sure Tasha, Yasmin, and Grandma Estelle are safe, especially Tasha. That's why I think he was very quick to ask Pinky, wait, have you already sent this to Monet? Which of course Pinky did. And I think if Pinky hadn't, I think he would have told her, hold tight, because exposing Diana does put Monet one step closer to Tasha. So, it's going to be really interesting to see how Tariq now moves going forward. We all know he's going to be on the hunt along with Kane and Monet, and he will be the first one to catch up to Diana, which might be at Salim's. But this is where I fully expect Diana to drop the bombshell, she's pregnant. That's the only thing that saves her from the wrath of everybody who's on the hunt. And this is what I mean by moving chess pieces. We as the audience know all the secrets. We know who was behind the gun, Diana being pregnant, the information that Monet and Tariq does and doesn't know, but they don't. So when they do find out, it is going to completely change the game. Now I think for Tariq, with Diana about to drop the I'm pregnant bomb, which I'm sure we're all expecting to happen at some point in episode 4, he needs to be very careful, because who knows, is he even the father? We do have to ask that question because Diana did sleep with both Salim and Tariq in season 3. Whether Tariq knows that Diana was with Salim, who knows, but it definitely is a question which I do hope is raised. We then have to ask, how does that change Tariq's plans going forward? Does he tell Tasha, and does she have a say in his future plans? Does it change his mind in reaching the top of the pyramid and getting deeper in the game? Or does he push forward regardless? I think Tariq's already made that decision. Like Tommy said, and also like Effie said, you're either in or you're out with a bullet. You can't go into this world half-hearted with one foot in or one foot out, because if you do, we all know and we've all seen what the consequences are. And so that brings me on to Diana still wanting out the game herself.
Well, I want out. And as soon as I find a window to tell Noma, I'm doing it.
Now, I created a video before season 4 began a couple of months ago. I titled the breakdown as Diana's Last Days. I always thought her getting deeper into the game under Nomar, it was always a ticking time bomb. She couldn't even deal with being wrapped around Monet's finger. So, what made her believe working for Nomar would be any different? If anything, she's more deeper in than she was ever before. Like Effie said and like Drew said, you're either in or you're out with a bullet. Nomar would kill her for even thinking about leaving. But Diana, she's definitely still adamant she still wants to leave the game and live a different life. Now, had she actually stayed working for Monet, and Monet realized she was pregnant, maybe she could have. We saw Monet accepting Diana's proposal in terms of being new business partners, but when they turned a profit, Diana was out, which Monet actually accepted. She was happy to work with Diana and then leave. But with Nomar, you can't do that. You're either in or out with a bullet. Stay in your lane, all in or all out. You have to pick whether you're a civilian or a gangster. You can't 1 minute go from Noma's protection, turning against Tariq, betraying Tariq and also your mother, but then a couple of weeks later, say you won out. The game just doesn't simply work like that, and that's why I feel like Diana's days are definitely numbered. She's determined to leave, and adding the fact she's pregnant, when have we ever seen that end well in the Power universe? So, I don't think this is going to be any different. Now that's the perspective of Diana and Tariq, but what about Monet? In the heat of the moment, we are going to see Monet and Kane on the hunt in episode 4, where she'll be taking no prisoners. This was a teaser that was released before season 4, which does match up to what we are going to see in episode 4. But, regardless of what we see with Monet and Kane on the hunt, and where we see Kane actually pulling the trigger, at the end of the day, when the dust settles, I do think Monet will choose the path of forgiveness, maybe even from the advice of Jeanette. I really think she's been a breath of fresh air for Monet in season 4. She's finally got someone she can talk to, someone who she can open up to, be honest with, and someone who understands her. So maybe it's Jeanette who actually pushes Monet down the path of forgiveness instead of revenge. Monet spoke about how she wanted a second chance in the hallucination with Zeke, and I feel her finding out Diana is pregnant, maybe she'll feel like that's her second chance. The flashbacks that we saw of Monet putting her kids in the game very early on, maybe she feels like with Diana's baby, she can actually help raise him or her the right way. So maybe she sees Diana being pregnant as a way she can actually bring the family together. But on Jeanette, I am going to come back to her in just a second.
To cut everybody off and get back to family first.
What? Family, Monet? Pull the fucking trigger.
In the official trailer, we've got Drew back at the bar where Drew says, "What family?" There's also another where Monet says, "He's still your brother." And that's why I think Monet will choose to forgive. Maybe not in episode 4, maybe not in episode 5, but maybe in episode 6. However, when and if she does, I do think it's going to be way too late. I mean, she might be able to patch things up with Diana for a short period, but that's all I ever think it will be. She might find a second chance, but I also feel like she'll lose it. Now, with Drew still adamant that his family is broken beyond repair, we are going to see Kane and Drew in a real battle going forward. A battle where Drew will get the drop on Kane. Whether he's got what it takes to do what he has to do, I'm not too sure. I think we all know Kane's going nowhere anytime soon, but what it does do is does set up a huge showdown. But coming back around to Jeanette Stewart, it was said that she was leaving after this dinner scene because it was her final night. But after everything that went down, will she stick around? Could she actually be the one to help Monet see the path of forgiveness? Will she be the one who turns Diana to God? Because she is a big churchgoer. But if she does stick around, could we also see something similar to what happened with Kenya in raising Canaan? She found herself in the wrong place at the wrong time, where she found herself caught in the crossfire between Rock and the Italians. And innocent civilians always find themselves in the crossfire in this world. So, it's just another perspective I do think was worth raising. Let's see if Jeanette does stick around, or whether she does actually leave, because if I were in her shoes, I would get as far away from this family as possible. Now, just a quick little mention for Detective Carter. I am going to drop a much detailed video on him very soon, but we all know from the trailer for episode 4, his plan is to let them turn against each other, which we all know was going to bound to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if he actually speeds up the process by stirring the pot. For example, bouncing Tasha out of Witsec, finding out the information in regards to who really was behind Monet's bullets, and revealing that information. I don't know how he'd find out, but we all know Power Book 2 ghosts can bend reality from time to time. So if I were in his shoes, if he wants to play the game of turning these guys against each other, I'd throw that information out in the streets because it really would cause chaos. And as we all know, chaos creates opportunities, which Detective Carter can take advantage of. So that's just a little side thought, because Monet, Kane and Tariq, they're not the only characters who are on the hunt. While they're on the hunt for Drew and Diana, Detective Carter will also be closing in. But that's a breakdown of where we are in regards to this storyline with Diana being exposed. There's a lot of perspectives we do have to consider, and a lot of moving chess pieces that will change the game. Diana's pregnancy being the biggest, but is her time up? Will Diana survive season 4? Drop all your thoughts and predictions down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.